I don't know. I just think we're really fortunate that professional drummers at the highest level are actually really good people.
I'm joined on the UK Drum Show by a very familiar face, Mr. Mike Johnston.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, I feel like there should be a sample of some applause with the way you said that. You're the best presenter, man. And
Oh,
not only are you the best presenter, you know that you're the best drummer because you were on the stage at the Europe Drum Show playing my kit, and dang, you made me look like a fool.
no,
You dropped the heat. You dropped the heat.
I didn't. Well, okay, let's give for those of you that weren't there and didn't see it. Mike was playing the main stage at the Europe Drum Show. He did the most phenomenal job, and what he did, which was so exciting, and for me, as just as I suppose from a punter's perspective, he did this thing where he decided not to just drum himself, but he got like 10 or 11 people up from the crowd to have a go. And the idea wasn't to show off. The idea was that everybody had to play the same groove, but it was how you perceived that groove. It was how you approached
Totally.
that groove. It was what your wrist movement was like. It was your posture. It was everything was being kind of looked at. But what he decided to do about 38 seconds before this particular segment took place was go, "Hey Ollie, I can't do an American accent, I'll do it anyway. Hey Ollie, can you come and do this beat? It's just eights with your right hand and just on the snare as well. Can you just come and do that for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right." And lo and behold, I had to do it, but I was really scared.
But you got up on the stage, you got to feel the butterflies of what not only the other people felt, but what we as even professional drummers feel. I mean, that's the thing that I think most people don't have in their mind is that the great drummers of the world, that they just walk up on stage and just do it. But trust me, I'm backstage warming up to get ready to go on, and other professional drummers are backstage and they're doing their thing and they're doing their stretches and they're talking in the corner about, they're rehearsing what their first couple lines are going to be. And so I wanted a couple people to feel that way. But the most important part of that whole thing was getting everyone to look into the camera that was going to be on the screen behind the kit and
Hmm.
say, I'm a drummer. Because I was hearing so many people throughout the weekend when I would talk to them, they would just tell me, like, "Oh, I'm not a drummer, I just play drums." And I was like, oh, okay. But that's in your head. Like, we have to change that. Your head and your heart has to identify as this special thing, which is being a drummer, not someone that plays drums. Being a drummer means that you tap on everything that you can, that every time a song comes on, you have to tell someone else, they just opened the hi-hat on the end of four. Like, we are a freaky little bunch. And I wanted those people to get up on stage and just say to a crowd, I'm a drummer. My name is, and I'm a drummer. And it was a really powerful, powerful moment for sure. So,
Was Do you know what? It was one of my favorite moments of the entire weekend. The reason being is that not just because I'm a Mike Johnston fan, or not just because I got to play for 8 bars and lose my Europe Drum Show virginity at the same time as you,
hello.
but
I'll
but
drink to that.
because do you know, like, the amount of people that were on stage, 10, 12 people, they were young. There were kids there that were like 9, 10 years old, but there were also
Yeah.
people maybe in their 30s or 40s. And actually, isn't it amazing that they returned home from that festival and went, you never guess what, like, to the friends at school or college or work. I got the Euro Drum Show. Mike Johnston got me up on stage. I played the main stage
The
of the
main
Euro.
stage.
But that is what you have done. No other, this isn't certainly not a diss at any other drummer, but no other drummer did that.
Yeah, man.
And that's just a fact. And you took time out of your stint, out of being in the spotlight for your segment of that show, to put that spotlight on the next generation of drummers. And I just think it's such a testament to your character to push your time away to make way for the next generation.
I appreciate that, man. But yeah, and like you said, I think we don't know what the trickle down effect is, but in my mind, because that stuff is not as planned out as it might seem. It is literally me backstage being like, man, it just clicks like that. I think like five people today said that they play drums, but they're not a drummer. How am I going to
Mm.
solve that? And then, like, literally, like you said, it was 30 seconds before we go on. I run to you and I'm like, are you good to play? Would you play? And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, will you play on stage? Yes. Okay. And then I run off and I start pulling people out of the crowd. So it is last minute, but in my mind, what's happening is I'm fast forwarding 15 years, and they wheel out old ass Mike Johnston and to like be like, this is a paradiddle. And in that moment, someone else comes up to me and says, "Hey, Mr. Johnston, I was at the Europe Drum Show 15 years ago. I was 17 and you brought me up on stage and now I'm here." And that's like that's the dream. Is like that I'm like, wait a minute. I'm opening for you now. Yes, we won. The whole thing worked. So that was kind of the goal, and we'll just have to wait a quick 15 years to find out what happens.
Well, I think you did a phenomenal job, and
Thanks, brother.
also you're welcome. Call it £10. Also, another thing that you are excellent at, which is obviously what you're all about, is inspiring, educating, teaching, and that is essentially what you're going to be doing at this year's UK Drum Show at the ACC Liverpool between the weekend of the 18th and 19th of October. Now, I do not know at this specific point in time. I don't know who you've booked, so we need to find out some names. So
Oh,
can we have some exclusives, even if it's just one or two names,
I'm
as
not
to
scared.
who?
I'm
Yeah,
not scared. I've been
I'll give you a
wanting
drum
to
roll.
I've been wanting to tell you for a while that you are the featured artist in the education room. Uh
You saw how much I was sweating after 8 bars under that spotlight. Like,
yeah.
it's not going to happen for 40 minutes.
So I'm stoked. It's going to be an insane room. If you've never been to the UK Drum Show, or if you've never been to the education room is a very special place, and I don't mean that because I'm lucky enough to be in charge of it. It is a place where you go to take a deep breath. There's so much going on at the Europe Drum Show and especially the UK Drum Show. It's chaos everywhere. You're running around. We got to see this person. Oh, my favorite drummer's on this stage. Oh, this is happening in the Mike Dolbear room. Ludwig's got a signing going on. There's all this stuff happening.
Mm.
And the education room is where you go to just be like, I think I'm just going to sit for a second and watch main stage level artists explain things and answer questions and be in a relaxed environment. Because when we're on the main stage, there's so much pressure on us. We know in the crowd is somebody that's going to ask us to play another drum festival in Paris or another one in Spain. And then all of our endorsers are there. And then the people that are about to play are standing there. And it's like, oh my God, dude, just go tune your snare. You don't have to stare at me, right? Like, it's a lot of pressure. So the education room was designed to say, what if we took that level of artists that are on the main stage and brought them into a different room where it was relaxed? And we call it the education room because the focus isn't them showing off. It's
Mm.
them really like they get to play, and it's okay. It's really for the crowd to relax and say, is it okay if I just ask you what that is? But I've prepped these artists to be like, there's no hiding here. I want you to say,
Mm.
yeah, let me tell you what that is. Don't
Mhm.
lie and go like, it's a paradiddle. It's like, dog, you know it wasn't a paradiddle. Why are you trying to pull the wool over
Mm.
their eyes? Tell them what it was. Show them. Hell, if anything, bring them up on the stage and say, why don't you sit down and I'll show it to you right now? That's
Mhm.
the goal. So this year, you know what? I'm not going to build up to it. I'll just give you the
Go
big
on,
hitter.
go on, go on, go. Who have
So
we
there's
got in Mike Johnston's education room at the UK Drum Show 2025?
I don't know if you're a fan of Ed Sheeran, but I am. And his drummer, Dexter Hercules, is going to be there. And Dexter is not only one of the most incredible drummers on the planet right now, but it's like there's no reason for you to be this kind. You are playing stadiums every single day. People are losing their mind for your drumming, and yet he's so humble and so kind. So once again, the education room isn't about like, well, let me see how fast Dexter Hercules is or how fast this person
Mhm.
is. It's a well, except for Jamie Murray. It is about watching how fast Jamie Murray is because that dude's
Yeah.
amazing. He's like, I'll take it slow. And I'm like, dude, you just melted your drum heads. What do you mean you're taking it slow? Anyways, I want people to be in a room to for over the course of 45 minutes to when it's over. I want them to feel like they know the person. And
Mhm.
I'm only bringing in people that I'm proud to say, "Hey, drum world, drum community, drum fans, this is the best that we have to offer, not as just drummers, but as people." And Dexter absolutely exemplifies that to the tilt.
Mhm.
So, we've
Mhm.
got Dexter Hercules, we've got Jost Nickel, and Yost is just I, eh, I mean, I honestly think that Yost is the Faith No More of drummers, meaning that every
Wow.
band that's big owes most of their credit to the Deftones and to Faith No More. And Yost Nickel, like every player that I hear, I know like, oh, okay. So I can hear that moment that you were very into Jost's playing and his teaching. And I am one of those people. I actually get scared to teach in front of Jost because I feel like at some point he'll be like, I think I know where you got that from. And I'll be like, yeah, all of it, Jost, from you, man. He's probably just one of my favorite drummers and favorite educators in the world. And then just because I feel like sometimes people, when they go to these events, want to have their brains scrambled like eggs. We've got Jay Postones from Tesseract.
Ah,
So,
yes,
and I know that's up your
yes,
alley. So I know you'll be in the
yes.
room for that.
In between running to and from the main stage to bring people on and take people off and
Who would you rather have take your job? I got you. You go do my job in that room, and I will handle the main stage. I got you,
yeah.
bro. Up
Jay
next,
is,
a
I mean,
drummer.
yeah. I mean, Jay Postones. I mean, firstly, those three. I mean, they are all forces to be reckoned with in their own niche, in their own
Absolutely.
kind of world. So great names, great names. And is
It's a big
there
loss.
at this point, are there any more names that you're willing to trickle through, or do we need to continue to watch the UK drum socials to see
Oh no,
when?
no, no. This is it. It's me
Oh,
and those three, and like we are going all in. So both days we all have different classes,
wow.
and the whole thing that I want people to see is I want them to see that we are in the room when the other guys are playing. We are supporting them. We're kind of
Mhm.
part of like their support crew. We're helping them get their drums on and off the stage because I think that the education room should be an example not of what the drum community could be, but what the world could be. And I
Mm,
know that sounds super California hippie. I really mean it like what if we didn't compete? What if we supported? What if I clapped for somebody that does the exact same job as me and they did it better than me? What if I
mhm,
clapped for them and said, "Dang, man. All right, I'm going to put in some more work now because of you." Like I want especially like you said, the people that are bringing their families, I want kids to see that and be like, wait,
mm,
why isn't school like this? Why isn't my dad's and
mm.
my mom's job like this? It's like, yeah, this is how the world could be. So it's just the four of us, and we are the team for the weekend of like, all right, we're going to be in there together. I'm going to figure out how to get some food in there at some point because sometimes we stay in that room from morning till night, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
Yost, have you eaten yet? And he'll be like, shaking in the corner. He's like, not really. I'm like, okay, let me see if I can figure out some sandwiches.
I mean that is a four-way of from drumming heaven. I think the four of you being together for 8 hours a day over an entire weekend. That is going to be absolutely sensational. Um, some of the people that may attend the educational rooms with yourself and Yost and Jay and Dexter, they might be fans of all of you. They might not know too much of your music, or they might be new to the table. They might be even be a new drummer. If somebody were to be there but be nervous about asking a question because maybe they felt a bit silly or something, what would your advice be to them?
I honestly to know that they are us 100%. You are, if you're asking a question, let's say, what's the difference between nylon tips and wood tips? You're literally asking a question that I had 30, 40 years ago. So it's like, it's our job to take ourselves back in our own personal timeline until we hit the moment that that person asked that question. And it's our job to answer it from that perspective with that empathy and say, I think one of the best things you can do when you're new to public speaking is make sure the first thing you say after somebody asks a question is, great question. Let them know you don't look silly right now. This is a great question from your perspective. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's people in the room that are like, everyone knows the difference between wood tips and nylon tips. And I would usually call out that person that looked cocky and be like, why don't you explain it, Tom? And Tom would be like, well, I'll start choking on his triple chin. And I would be like, exactly. You don't know that you think you know the answer and you feel you know the answer, but you don't really know like why this exists and what it does and how it affects the drums and how it affects the cymbals differently and what kind of natural sound you're going to be able to get out of a ride cymbal. So honestly, wood tip versus nylon tip is a fantastic question. So I think first thing you do is you validate the person, you validate the question, let them know like I definitely wanted to know that because I bought them because they looked different when I was a
Yeah.
kid. I was like, I'll get those. Those are cooler than the regular ones that I've seen, people play back in the 1930s. I'll get the new version.
Yeah.
Um, and then at some point, I'm like, God, I'm in jazz band and my ride cymbal is so bright. And then somebody says, well, you should just play wood tip sticks. I'm like, oh,
Mm,
you mean like the 1930s? They're like, well, they kind of got it right a long time ago. So, anyways, long story short, I would say for anyone attending the room, this is the place to let that all go. Raise your hand and say, "Can you show me that thing you just did on the hi hat?"
mhm,
Can whatever the question is, it's like, well, that's kind of what we're there for. And I prep the
mm.
artists that are going to be in my room. Hey, you're not here to show off. You're here to answer questions. You're here to bring people in, get them in closer, and
Yeah,
and let them know, like, I don't know. I just think we're really fortunate that professional drummers at the highest level are actually really good people. So it's like show
I
them
agree.
that side of our wonderful, wonderful instrument.
And why do you think that is, Mike? Because you and I are, we're no strangers to the UK drum show, the Europe drum show. And when you, for example, are probably looking out from the main stage at the Europe drum show or even in your own educational room, what you see is people that have never met, that are sitting next to each other, that are taking notes, but then they start sharing notes. Then
Yeah,
they realize they've made a new best friend. There is something so amazing about the drumming community where you can come to an event like the UK Drum Show on the Saturday morning, and when you leave on the Sunday night, you've made a new best friend forever
totally.
because drummers are so encouraging of other drummers. And I've said this a million times before, but I have never seen such openness and transparency and such thoughtfulness from a different type of musician.
It's a crazy thing, and trust me, the rest of the music industry, or at least the instruments, they all want it. Like, how do we get what the drum industry has? How do we get the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the family vibe that the drum industry has? And I think what it is I think personalities generally pick the instrument. And for a
Mhm.
drummer, we as kids must have gone to a show at some point and we looked at the band and there was the singer and we were like, screw that. I'm not doing that. That looks like one, it might even take talent. I don't want to have any part in that. And
Well, you
two,
might need live Melodyne.
yeah, no, thank you. I did Happy Birthday at 5 years old. That was the first time I sang. Haven't sang since. We're good. Then I look at like the guitarist and then the bass player and it looks cool. And then I keep weaving my way back. And then I see this guy in the back or this girl in the back and I go, that's what I want to do. I want to be in the back of the stage. I want to survey the whole thing. I want to kind of behind the scenes drive the ship. I bet drummers are more likely to watch extras of movies than any other instrument in the world. I bet we care more about the extras. How was this made? How was this done than any other instrument?
I feel like my mind has just exploded. I that is so accurate. That's so true.
Bro, I've seen Lord of the Rings twice. I've seen the making of the Lord of the Rings about 200 times.
I feel like this is
Do you feel
perfect, but
seen?
that's
Do you feel
literally
seen?
I feel like this is my life. That's
Yeah.
exactly what. Sometimes if I can't sleep, I Google how did they make Terminator 2. That's what I read. It's just
I've never even seen Terminator 2, but I need to know how they made it because that dude
we
walked through a jail cell. How did that
he did.
happen?
You need to watch it tonight and text me after. One of the things that when Thomas Lang and I were speaking on a previous episode of UK Drum Show official podcast, he said that one of the reasons he thought that drumming was so sort of open to other drummers is because it takes us right back to those primal instincts we have,
Mm.
and it's a tribal instrument, isn't it? The drums.
100%. And I think that that's one of our things that as we get more and more advanced on the drums, we actually forget. We forget how much this instrument can bring out emotions in people. And I think it's really important that we tap into that side of things too. Cymbal swells with mallets that can be very angelic and it can be very spiritual. Tom grooves can be like, okay, we're getting ready for battle. We can bring out like a fight or flight mode in the tom grooves that we play and play these tribal tom grooves. We can calm people down with just like a simple groove and just and we can just bring everything down. So I think that that's one of the things, even when you're playing a drum solo on stage at one of these festivals, I am thinking, what's the contrast? Like I'm creating this thing, this sense of tension. Am I going to release that tension? Am I going to ratchet it up? But I think that the drums on their own and different parts of the instrument can really bring out a sense of humanity in all of us.
Mm.
One of the easiest ways to do it is when I have drummers here for drum camps, or if I'm doing it in the education room. Let's say we have two drummers and they're trading fills back and forth. Very rarely does anyone clap or respond to a really cool fill, but when someone just lands or sticks the landing of the fill, people lose their minds because it didn't rush, it didn't drag. They played something simple, everyone could understand it, and just if you hang out with the Boons, Pat and Debbie, just Pat Boon, Debbie Boon, bones, that works every time compared to everyone's like, we'll just wait till you're done. But if it's, and if you give Debbie some barbecue sauce, oh, Pat Boone, Debbie Boone, barbecue sauce. Oh, it's a game changer. And the human side of us will always override the drummer side of us. So the drum nerd in us gets overridden by, oh, that just felt good.
I I want to fly to America immediately and participate in one of these drum camps of yours, particularly because of the mention of barbecue sauce. I will be there. Uh,
Dude, I'll book the flight for you. I mean, I hope you're okay with economy shorter leg space because that's all I can afford right now, but
that's
I got you.
that's okay. I'll just kneel in the aisle or something. Mike Johnston, thank you so much for sharing your words of wisdom, your uh, constant ray of sunshine, being completely hilarious, easy to speak to, and just one of the nicest guys in the industry. We are so lucky at the UK Drum Show to have Mike, host these masterclasses, these exhibition rooms, and I think together with Jay, with Yost, with Dexter, and himself, I can only urge you that this is going to be a four-way of just epic drum glory. You're not going to see anything else like it over the weekend.
There's so much. I now great. Now I can't live up to that. All right. What I would say is bring a blanket, bring a pillow, like park in the education room and just be like, I'm just gonna hang here. It's just a good vibe. I'll make sure there's water. We'll figure that stuff out. But dude, honestly, buddy, I hope you get a chance. I know that your world is chaotic when you're there because I know of all of your duties, but I hope you get a chance to swing through because the education room truly is for drummers' souls. It's to make people feel better. It's to be able to leave the main stage where you go, man, I don't even know what just happened. Should I even play drums anymore? Then you go refill your soul in the education room and be like, absolutely. We're all in this together. We're all chipping away at this thing one note at a time. So I look forward to seeing everybody there. I look forward to seeing you there. And I'm sorry that we always have such a rough time speaking to each other. It's just, you and I just have no. If anyone knows, behind the scenes, Ollie and I are pretty decent friends, and I bet it was hard for you to say all those nice things about me without laughing because
No,
we
no,
like to.
not at all. Honestly,
Oh,
man, as I said, you're a ray of sunshine. Your
thanks, brother.
personality is amazing. And also as well, you're just an absolutely phenomenal drummer. And I will make it my mission to come and hang in the exhibition room with you, Yost, Jay, and Dexter as well. And just be part of it. And that's what the UK Drum Show is about. It's about everybody. For some people, that weekend, that's their Christmas day. That's what they
100%.
want to do. They want time. Maybe they want time away from work or from other responsibilities, and they've gone, do you know what? I'm buying this ticket because it's for me. I'm doing something for myself, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to enjoy it. And the exhibition rooms are great. Mike Dolbear's room is amazing. The main stage is phenomenal. So there's so much for you to do when you come to the UK Drum Show. But Mike,
Absolutely.
we will see you on our side of the pond between the 18th and 19th of October at the ACC Liverpool. And thank you for coming on the UK Drum Show official podcast.
Thank you, buddy. Congratulations on your complexion.
You're such a dick.
Well, I'm sorry. Your skin just looks so much better than mine. It's pissing me off.